Good morning. My name is Dr. Warren Rusche. I'm the SDSU Extension Beef Feedlot Management Associate, and we are here at the Southeast Research Farm. And behind me is our cattle feedlot, one of our two cattle feeding research facilities that we have here at South Dakota State University. The other would be at the Ruminant Nutrition Center located on campus in Brookings. I'm part of the team that works on trying to answer questions that relate to practical cattle feeding problems that our feeders and background face. I, along with Dr. Zach Smith and his graduate students, are the team that is working on those kind of questions. Here at Southeast Farm, we've looked at several different aspects of beef feedlot research. We've studied alternative feed crops such as hybrid rye. We've done work with some feed additives with the idea of improving salmonella resistance and producing a safer beef product. And we've also done work with, and what I'll talk about a little bit more this morning, is we've also done work evaluating how silage might fit into a production system. Silage is really a cornerstone feed ingredient for our cattle feeders here in the upper Midwest, but traditionally on finishing cattle, the conventional wisdom is we only feed just enough of that to maintain rumen health. What we've been doing is asking some other questions about how much can we feed from a system standpoint. One of the things we've found is that some work that we've done here, and also similar work up at Brookings, where we feed increased amounts of silage, as we'd expect, we slowed down cattle growth and reduced feed efficiency when measured on a per animal basis. But if we look at from just a per acre, a crop ground basis, we actually was very similar, and in some cases we increased the amount of beef produced per acre. We think that's going to be really important here in 2021 because as we drive across the state and look at what the drought conditions are looking like, it's highly possible, maybe even likely, that we're going to be relying on corn silage to a much greater degree simply because growing condition stress is going to dictate that a lot of our corn may get harvested as silage rather than as dry corn. And so marketing that feed stuff through cattle is the surest way that we can capture value. So we think what we've done from a research standpoint of examining elevated amounts of corn silage in finishing diets could be really important to our producers as we think about this next year. Some of the other work that we've done here at the Southeast Farm is we've looked at how to best optimize the value of the corn silage we put up. An example of that is a research project we completed last February where we examined kernel processing at either early or later harvest maturities. What we found under our conditions, where we were feeding a limited amount of corn silage to 1,000-pound plus finishing yearling steers, is that kernel processing really did not make any kind of great deal of difference in terms of feed efficiency or performance. And that could be important from a grower standpoint, is if that's the class of livestock that we're feeding, kernel processing may be a step that we can eliminate and not necessarily have to expend those resources in order to accomplish that. Couple things though to keep in mind, we were feeding finishing yearling steers. We're not certain if that same conclusion would apply if we were backgrounding cattle where we were feeding higher amounts of corn silage. That's some work we want to take another look at to examine on a different class of cattle and see if that same conclusion holds true. The other part is, especially on the delayed maturity, the delayed harvest silage, there may have been a difference if we'd have stored that product in a bunker or a pile rather than bags. In the bagged product, we noticed no differences between the kernel processed or not. However, some of the folks in the business, practical advice from cattle feeders might suggest that kernel processing, especially if it's a drier silage stored in a bunker, that it's able to be packed better, have a better fermentation, and simply preserves more of the feed value. So that's one of the asterisks on our work is perhaps if you're putting it up in a bunker or pile, we may not, that our conclusion on kernel processing might not hold. Again, though, our real focus here, both here and at the Southeast Farm, is how to try to come up with ways that our cattle feeders and backgrounders can be more efficient, more profitable, more sustainable, and produce a product that meets consumer demands. And if there's anything we can do on the feedlot side to improve food safety, those are also topics we want to explore. Our doors are always open and certainly available for questions. So if anyone would like more information, you can find my information on extension.sdstate.edu.